When people imagine dying in the open ocean, they picture something attacking them. A fin, a shadow, a violent struggle. But survivors of real maritime disasters describe something very different. The ocean rarely hunts you. It simply waits for the human body to reach its limits. The misunderstanding, our fear of the ocean, is shaped by sudden danger. Movies taught us to expect chaos. Instinct tells us to watch for predators. But the reality, documented in survival accounts, is far quieter and far more disturbing. Because the greatest threat often begins long before anyone realizes they're in trouble. And once it starts, it is extremely difficult to stop. The first shift, heat loss, even in water that doesn't feel especially cold, the body begins losing heat immediately. Water pulls warmth away up to 25 times faster than air. At first, it feels manageable. Survivors often describe telling themselves, "I can handle this," but the body is already reallocating energy, working harder just to maintain core temperature. That hidden effort drains strength faster than most people expect. And strength in open water is survival currency. Spend it too quickly and the outcome changes. When thinking changes, one of the least discussed effects of prolonged water exposure is cognitive decline. Not dramatic, not obvious, just subtle enough to go unnoticed. Judgment softens. Risk assessment shifts. Decisions that would seem questionable on land begin to feel reasonable. Swimming toward distant objects, leaving flotation, separating from others. Survivors who were later rescued often spoke about this phase with confusion, surprised by the choices they had made. But the brain, like the body, struggles when temperature drops. Clear thinking is not guaranteed. The energy trap, movement, feels like survival. After all, staying still on land is rarely helpful in a crisis. But open water rewrites the rules. Every kick, every arm stroke, every attempt to reposition the body burns precious calories. And unlike land, there is nowhere to rest. Fatigue doesn't announce itself loudly. It accumulates, quietly tightening its grip until even small movements become difficult. Veteran rescue swimmers sometimes note that the ocean doesn't overpower people all at once. It lets exhaustion do the work. The psychological descent, perhaps the most haunting phase described by survivors, is not physical, but mental. Time distorts. Minutes stretch. Hope becomes harder to measure. The horizon never changes. No landmarks. No sense of progress. Just distance in every direction. Some survivors recall becoming unusually calm. Not relieved. Not safe. Just detached. As if the brain were conserving energy the only way it could. By dimming emotional intensity. It is not surrender. It is biology attempting to cope. Why rescue is harder than we think. From above, spotting a person in open water is astonishingly difficult. Even trained search teams miss survivors. Waves obscure visibility. Light reflects unpredictably. Colors blend into the vastness. What feels obvious at water level can disappear from the sky. This is why rescue windows matter so much. Not just days, sometimes hours. The ocean does not hide survivors intentionally. It simply offers very little contrast. And vastness is its own form of camouflage. The patience of water, predators need speed. The ocean does not. It has something far more powerful, endurance. It does not tire. It does not rush. It does not make mistakes. It simply remains unchanged. While the human body negotiates limits, it cannot ultimately rewrite. This is why many survival experts describe open water not as aggressively hostile, but quietly unforgiving. The real lesson to understand the ocean is to understand patience, not ours, its. Because survival is rarely about defeating the water. It is about lasting long enough to be found. And the margin between those outcomes is often thinner than anyone expects. When most people imagine danger at sea, they look beneath the surface. But the greatest threat has never needed teeth, only time. The ocean doesn't chase you, it waits. And in that waiting, it reveals exactly how fragile the human body can be. When we envision peril on the high seas, we often conjure images of menacing creatures lurking beneath the waves, ready to strike. Yet the reality is more insidious. The ocean operates on a different timeline, one dictated by the limits of human endurance. It is not the immediate threat of an external attack that claims lives, but rather the gradual erosion of strength and will, as the relentless water continues its silent onslaught. As the minutes turn into hours, each passing second feels heavier, burdened by the weight of isolation. Survivors often recount the cruel irony of longing for rescue, while simultaneously battling the primal urge to give in to despair. The ocean, indifferent to their struggles, remains a vast and shimmering tapestry, a deceptive refuge concealing the true peril of its depths. Even as hope wanes, an instinctual drive persists, fueled by the flickering flame of survival, refusing to be extinguished by the calm yet treacherous tranquility surrounding them. The tension of waiting becomes a mental fog, an oppressive blanket suffocating any flicker of optimism. Survivors may find themselves oscillating between moments of clarity and confusion, questioning their decisions as if trapped in a dream. Time loses its meaning, transforming into a languid stretch where every breath feels significant yet futile. Each movement, however small, is a battle against the growing fatigue. Limbs that once worked with purpose now feel like anchors, pulling them down. Amidst this wrestle, the ocean's patience is unnerving, an endless expanse that whispers of both danger and the isolating peace of solitude, amplifying the fragility of human existence against its vastness. Relaxation, once a refuge, turns perilous as it leads to deeper immersion in the chilling grasp of the water. In the midst of this turmoil, the mind begins to fracture under the weight of solitude. Thoughts drift like the sea's surface, sometimes aligned with reason, but often spiraling into despair. The self takes a distant role, caught in a strange interplay between desperation and acceptance, realizing that the ocean doesn't demand action, it simply waits. Paradoxically, this understanding brings a twisted consolation. Loneliness becomes a familiar companion, both a source of dread and an unexpected solace. As waves continue their relentless crash, survivors inevitably come to terms with a stark truth. In this abyss, it's not just the body that fights for survival, but the essence of will itself. The ocean's stillness, often mistaken for serenity, is a pervasive reminder of our vulnerability. Survivors detail the eerie quiet as a backdrop to their struggle. It amplifies every sound, the splashing of water against skin, the labored breath disrupted by the cold. This relentless environment mercilessly strips away the illusion of control, forcing individuals to confront the rawness of their humanity. Each minute is a test, a challenge of spirit, where thoughts of buoyancy slip between the cracks of despair. The realization that flesh is but a fragile vessel becomes painfully clear as limbs grow heavier, movement increasingly costly. Even hope, once a mighty flame, flickers dimly, testing the limits of endurance and conviction. Desperation can lead to reckless decisions or moments of profound calmness, a paradoxical acceptance of fate. In this world of shadows and silences, the mind attempts to pacify the body, forging a connection between survival instinct and the inexorable pull of resignation. Each flicker of awareness is overshadowed by the overwhelming vastness of the ocean, an endless embrace that feels like both nurturing and suffocating. As cognitive functions wane, the pull towards self-preservation becomes desperate, yet astonishingly instinctive, revealing a complex dance of will against the infinite backdrop of water. This ongoing battle, encompassing both body and mind, is the slow unraveling that the ocean mandates, yielding its quiet and inevitable grip. It is in these moments of despair that a stark realization dawns on the mind. Rescue is not guaranteed. Every second stretches into eternity, and the distant glimmer of hope transforms into an elusive mirage. Even as the body fights to stay afloat, the mental landscape shifts, clouding judgment and distorting the perception of time. Surrounded by the vastness of the sea, decisions once deemed rational slip away in favor of instinctual survival. Desperation leads to vivid hallucinations or mirage-like visions where the line between reality and illusion blurs, forcing each survivor to navigate their own understanding of hope within the depths of desolation. Yet, in the throes of despair, the will to survive ignites in unexpected ways. The ocean's quiet endurance becomes a relentless adversary, forcing its challengers to confront their deepest fears and insecurities. Ultimately, the narrative of survival at sea unveils a profound truth about the human spirit. It is both resilient and fragile, capable of extraordinary endurance, even in the face of overwhelming odds. As the ocean teaches us its lessons, we emerge with a deeper understanding of our connection to life itself, eternally shaped by its vast, unforgiving presence.